Welcome back, friends. Today we'll be talking about some of the best leveling methods for your skills in Project Zomboid. Looking at the skill list at a glance can be overwhelming for new players, and veterans may not even know the most efficient leveling methods to help you get that extra edge for your survival needs. Starting with a highly underrated skill, we're going to look at the First Aid skill. First Aid is a skill used to treat the player's wounds. As the skill level increases, the player will perform medical interactions faster, make bandages and poultices last longer, make splints more effective and heal fractures faster, and evaluate the severity of wounds and infections. Contrary to popular belief, First Aid does not make wounds such as scratches or lacerations heal faster. Experience is gained by players treating themselves or other players. Now, going into the details of the leveling for this isn't for the faint of heart, as you have to find broken glass on the ground and walk through it to obtain glass shards in your feet. From there, you have tweezers and a couple suture kits ready because you're going to perform some self-surgery. Use the tweezers to pluck out the glass from each of your feet, and then the glass will reappear in the feet. You can keep pulling it out until your blood level gets low, and then suture it up. Keep doing this until your medical skill has gotten as high as you'd like it to be. Make sure to read the respective level of the First Aid skill books available in the loot tables in order to make this faster. Next on the list, we're going to talk about the Maintenance skill. Maintenance increases the chance for any melee weapon to not lose condition when used. Does not apply to firearms as this skill is separated into aiming. This gains XP by using weapons with one caveat. No XP is gained if the weapon loses condition from that use. To train this skill, simply find a weapon with high durability. Enter combat stance and use the shove action to shove a window repeatedly, as this will slowly but relatively safely level up this skill over time without completely risking the durability of your favorite crowbar. The next three stats typically go hand in hand and level alongside each other in relativity, but there's a surefire method to level up all of them together. Sneaking is a self-explanatory mode wherein your character crouches down and becomes less visible to the surrounding undead. The Nimble skill defines the speed at which your character moves while in combat stance, weapon ready. And Light-footed affects the sound a player's footsteps make. To level these three skills simultaneously, gather a vehicle with lights and sirens, find a clear enough area to turn them on, and move away quickly as the horde will approach to investigate the new disturbance. From there, wait in a nearby area for a few hours for the zombies to funnel over to your place distraction and sneak along the outskirts of the horde, within about 15 to 20 meters based on what our research shows. The act of sneaking in this scenario will level up your sneak and light-footed skill rather fast, whereas the Nimble skill is designed to level slowly, but you can still gain decent experience with this by attracting one or two zombies from the horde and just having them chase you while in combat stance. Albeit this is a riskier option for leveling, the benefits you can achieve with just a few levels in this skill and are phenomenal. For example, just getting level 4 Nimble allows you to move faster than any of the AI while holding your weapon ready. Our next skill we're going to look at is Fitness, as it ties in well to the movement-based skills we just covered. Fitness is important for many different skills in Zomboid, most importantly covering your overall fatigue and endurance. When looking at the best ways to level fitness, you might consider sprinting to be a good way to level, but this is far from the fact, as the experience you get toward fitness when sprinting or moving is inconsistent at best. To make these leg day gains, you gotta hit the grindstone with some exercise. If you're looking for an almost pure increase in fitness, you'll want to be doing squats, as they only cause fatigue to the legs and give a decent amount of base EXP at the speed you can perform them. Following up on fitness, we're going to talk about strength. Strength is a skill in Project Zomboid that handles the player's carry weight, as well as other minor things like chance to open a locked window or the chance for a player to hop a fence. Most importantly though, this skill modifies your overall damage when hitting a zombie, as well as knockback and knockdown chance. Like the previous skill, strength can be leveled through exercise, but from our research, the most effective way to level strength is running around over max carry weight, as this will help you consistently level throughout your gameplay at the cost of increased fatigue. However, with a bit of proper energy management and a good safe house, this is a small price to pay in the quest for games. Our next skill is one of the most important in Project Zomboid, is the Carpentry skill. Carpentry, as you can imagine, is the ability to woodwork and craft items with wood, allowing for the creation of water barrels and storage bins. This is one of the lifeline skills in Project Zomboid. There are two ways to level this skill quickly. The first may be frowned upon in multiplayer environments, as it requires you to disassemble world objects, breaking them back down for a portion of the materials used for crafting, based on carpentry level. To do this, simply find a hammer or saw and right-click to disassemble. After this, you can use your newly gained materials to craft yourself a handy spear Furthermore, the gains you get in this carpentry skill, our suggested alternative for carpentry, follows previous one, but instead of disassembling world tiles, you will go and chop yourself some trees, saw the logs down into planks, and again start crafting spears. Both of these methods are tried and true and can be further enhanced finding the appropriate skill book for your carpentry level. Following carpentry, we have cooking. Level the cooking skill gives a multitude of benefits such as telling if your food is poisoned more readily, allows you to make more nutritious and filling meals, and at cooking level 7, you can use all the rotten food you find in the world safely in soups and stews. To level this skill, you'll need to do a bit of foraging, finding any crickets you can. From there, you can cook mass amounts of crickets for a small but very consistent amount of experience. This method is highly suggested to be done with a skill book active, but you might be able to get it done if you have enough crickets. And since we just spoke on it, let's jump right into the foraging. This skill increases the effectiveness of search forage mode by increasing its radius, item detection speed, as well as the chance to find items. More items are unlocked as a player's foraging skill increases. Now, I'm sure you're hoping for some crazy overpowered leveling methods, but unfortunately for this, it's just as simple as foraging. Whenever you're relatively safe to do so, as every item discovered and collected will give you experience towards this skill. Coupled with skill books for your respective level, you should be jumping foraging levels in no time at all. Next on the list we have the mechanic skill. This skill governs your ability to repair and install car parts, whether it be fixing up the old beater car you found on decking out a modded vehicle to be apocalypse ready. This skill will surely save you in a dire situation. With enough care into it, to level this skill you'll need a couple tools. A jack, a screwdriver, a lug wrench, and tire pump are your primary tools for working on mechanic. With these tools in your inventory, you can start to uninstall and reinstall parts on cars. Keep in mind this can be done only once per part over in-game day, and further attempts will yield no experience if done in succession. Raising the electrical skill allows players to hotwire vehicles, change lights to be battery powered, as well as repair generators better and create devices. While there's a handful of ways to level this skill, the best tried and true method is looting electrical devices and dismantling them with a screwdriver. Digital watches from recently passed zombies and CD players from general loot tables will serve this purpose effectively. Next up, we have metalworking. The metalworking skill allows players to build metal structures, which are stronger than wood if you didn't know, makes welding quieter, and makes metal barricades more durable. Metalworking can also be helpful to repair certain parts of vehicles. The best method to leveling the skill is getting a propane torch and breaking down the various car wrecks that you find on the road. Keep in mind, to level this skill, you'll need a good amount of propane looted already. Now we're going to have a look at the tailoring skill. Raising the tailoring skill allows players to patch and fortify clothing, as well as fully repair clothing to its original protective insulation values and appearance at higher skill levels. The amount of defense repaired or increased depends on the skill level. At high levels, players can patch holes in clothing back to their original undamaged state. The best tried level method is collecting a bunch of ripped sheets and leather strips and patching and unpatching your chosen clothing with a skill book active. Our next skill is going to be an important one to get you through that first winter in Project Zomboid in the farming skill. Yes, the farming skill allows players to check up on a crop plant's statuses. The detail of the information available increases with each level. Farming experience is only gained when harvesting a crop, based on its hit point total at harvest. So instead of just telling you farming crops and harvesting them is the best leveling method, I'll instead tell you the best crops to farm are cabbage, broccoli, and potatoes and tomatoes, as there are all you'll need for flavoring, fulfilling meals year-round. Going back to the movement skills of Project Zomboid, we're going to look at sprinting as the simplest leveling method is implied in the name. But looking deeper at this and how many of the skill tie into it, it's truly almost enigmatic. From our writers' research, there's many different and inconsistent methods to leveling this skill, one of them already being explained through fitness and strength. Other players say choosing a corner of your base and running into it until you're tired, rinse and repeating the process of that until max level is the best method. Whichever of these methods you choose, however, keep in mind managing your exhaustion and stamina is the most important to leveling the skill at the end of the day. Now looking at an undervalued skill in Zomboid, we have trapping. The trapping skill gives players a better chance of catching something in a trap and also gives the players the ability to make new traps. To level the trapping skill, you're going to want to make a bunch of stick traps and place them in a forested area. The more, the better. Then you'll have to wait a few in-game hours while the traps take off. Once you've waited, go check your traps and reset them as needed. The skill can be further enhanced with a skill book. Following trapping, we have fishing. The fishing skill determines how long it takes players to catch a fish, the chance of breaking the line, the chance of fish escaping, the chance of losing bait or tackle, and finally, the size of the fish caught. You will gain XP no matter what happens as a result of your cast. If the line breaks, the fish gets away, or you catch a pair of socks, shoes, you will always get XP. As such, the best way to level fishing is to find the appropriate skill book and spend your time fishing. There are also shows in the first couple game weeks that will also give you experience in the skill. The next skills we're going to talk about work in tandem in the aiming and reloading skill. The aiming skill determines 5 key weapon stats: accuracy, precision, range, firing angle, and aiming time. It can be leveled up by successfully hitting enemies with a shot with a firearm, and the reloading skill determines how long it takes the player to perform reloading related tasks. Starting with reloading, all you need to level this skill is a weapon and its magazine and the ammo. Then in your spare time, simply unload and reload the weapon for 1 experience per bullet loaded. It's a slow grind for this skill, but the increased reload speed for magazines and the later levels is really worth it. Now looking at the leveling of aiming, you're going to want to find yourself a shotgun and some shells, and then a manageable group of zombies based on your giving ammo or ready escape route. Begin moving the zombies in a train group and shooting when the outline is green, or 3 or more are single kills. Grant only 1 experience, whereas you gain a multiple for multiple kills with ranged weapons. This next section is going to cover all the related melee weapon categories. As a baseline to save time in explaining each skill and to avoid repetition, the baseline is as follows. Each weapon skill leveling influences attack speed, damage done, critical chance, and the chance of the character automatically pushing zombies away when grabbed, front grabs. This is true currently for every weapon category that follows as a build 41 and may change in the development cycle. As each weapon category follows the same leveling method of attacking with a given weapon of the category, we're going to instead talk about the best weapons to use when leveling, instead option to keep in short for your viewing pleasure. Axes are a class of weapon in the game with a low base game pool of weapons. Weapons in this category are the craftable stone axe, the hand axe, the pickaxe, the hand axe, and the fire axe. We suggest using the pickaxe or fire axe to level this skill. Long blunt is a class of weapons with extensive coverage of overall weapons, but many of them hold low durability or damage effectiveness. The best weapons for the long blunt skill are the crowbar and the shovel. The sledgehammer is the highest damage long blunt weapon, but causes a heavy exhaustion toll on the player when swinging it. Short blunt is also a class with extensive weapon coverage, losing its effectiveness of the two-handed usage and gaining the benefit of faster attack speed. The weapons we suggest for this class are the pipe wrench or the hammer. Long blade is the weapon with the lowest variance in weapons, only housing 2 in the machete or the katana. Short blade is the only weapon class with a stealth attack called the jaw jab. With a fast attack speed but low durability, this weapon class is for the trained stealth player. For this weapon class, we suggest the hunting knife for the best durability or the screwdriver for accessibility. Spears are the primary player craftable weapon class, cheap enough to make in large quantities but offering relatively low durability without properly leveled maintenance. Spears have a special running attack that can be formed, as well as their own special one-shot they can perform with proper spacing and weapon proficiency. I hope you all liked this video. If you did, leave a comment down below and maybe even share your own tips and tricks on how to grind skills in Zomboid. I'd also like to thank all the Patreons that make videos like this possible. We couldn't do it without you guys. You guys are amazing. I love you all. I'll see you guys in the next one.